We have officially begun the Fun Friday edition of The Meltdown. Tyler and I attended a pretty distinct double feature last night. We'll give you our reviews of both Monkey Man and The First Omen. Yesterday, we profiled ESPN's challenging future, as today, they've pushed out a top-level executive. We'll tell you why. The Rock has a busy WrestleMania weekend ahead and recently spoke to Will Kane about the current political climate. And today's Luntz's List profiles the 5 pieces of media that always seem to make him the hungriest. This is The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
2 big boys in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes sound a meltdown. It's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
As always, it's you Meltdonians that make this magic happen. Thank you for being here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. We really do appreciate all of your lovely support as we continue on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Would love for you to subscribe if you have not already, as we're hoping to hit that goal somewhere within this summer season. The other half of the Meltdown, that is John Lunsford, who's officially back from Nash Vegas. Why do you I don't understand that bit, but there you are.
Who, me? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
How was your trip to Nashville?
That was good. Preds got a win. Back on the winning side after 18 straight games. Lost a couple, and now they're back winning. And, almost have that playoff spot locked up. And the good thing is they completely avoid the Stars until the Western Conference Final.
Stars are hot right now.
Because the Stars, as of right now, are the better team between them and the Canucks. Therefore, they will get the Golden Knights most likely to start things off. So the Preds can play the Canucks, move on, and then we'll talk about it in the Western Conference Final.
How's Pekka holding up?
Pekka's not there.
Pekka's retired.
What
There's a nice statue of him, though, outside.
It's obviously a new
big
hat.
Pekka?
It's a big Pekka. Okay. Yes, this hat is this is the Nashville Predators pick that they have on the side of their jersey because, they do the 3-star thing in Nashville. But it's in the Oiler blue, so I thought this could be a nice little peace offering. I still don't hate the Titans. I still hate the Titans.
Oh.
No,
that sounded like a Freudian.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
I was gonna say I still don't like
peace
the Titans.
offering. I still don't hate the Titans. I'm like, he's coming back.
I still hate the Titans, but I love the old Oilers jerseys. When I won the TNR Madden Super Bowl, that I guess is going to be the only one ever played in the history of mankind, I did literally every game, as Tyler and Rocky can tell you, as the Oilers, not as the Titans. So I like the color. I like the.
Who was your quarterback?
Malik Willis. I played with him as Malik Willis the whole time because Ryan Tannehill was awful. Will Levis wasn't there yet. I still would have played with Malik Willis even with Tannehill.
If you had your choice next season, would you rather the Titans win every game of the season or no games in the season?
No games.
Why?
Just proves my point.
You still hate him, though, right?
It proves my point. That
I still don't hate him.
It proves my point
but
that I
if
left.
they got things right, isn't that been your biggest argument of why you left? You just wanted them to see them succeed?
Oh, now you get it right after 20 years and I leave.
We don't want you anyway. I don't want you as a fan anyway.
I don't care about having a football team. It's the Preds and the Preds all the way.
I'm done trying to recruit you back.
I like the light blue. I used to always wear North Carolina hats when I was little because I like the Carolina blue, same kind of thing. So
great.
Yeah, I like
Cheer for them
the
instead.
Old Nashville Preds alt logo here. The guitar pick for Rockstar,
Yeah,
or the blue for Tim, and I like Tyler too. Yeah, Tyler's also wearing a hat.
Speaking of sports, Pat McAfee won big today as the New York Post reports ESPN's decided to part ways with top executive Norby Williamson. By the way, who's called Norby? Norby Williamson.
I assume
Norbit
was his real name.
Norbit. Executive Norby Williamson is out after he spent nearly 4 decades with the worldwide leader. This parting of ways takes place 2 years before Williamson's contract was slated to expire. It had been slated to run until ESPN and ABC air the Super Bowl in early 2027. The network declined to comment on the situation, but the outlet says he was pushed out by content president Burke Magnus, can't make these names up, for not possessing, quote, a vision that aligned with ESPN's long-term strategy. Now, the reason this is a win for McAfee is McAfee called this guy out by name on his airwaves, Norby Williamson, and said he's trying to sabotage my show. He doesn't like the fact I'm here. He doesn't like the fact we're popular. He didn't want me here in the first place. And now, instead of McAfee being shown the door, it is Norby Williamson who has been basically told it's time to part ways. What's your reaction to this, as we had a big in-depth discussion about the future of ESPN just yesterday, John?
Well, the truth is, if you've been somewhere for almost 40 years, you're doing things the old way. Honestly, you probably are doing things the old way, and you haven't been able to evolve. ESPN, and I gave Bob Iger credit for this, that was a Bob Iger purchase, along with Pixar and Marvel and Star Wars and all the things that have happened under him. Pat McAfee also was a purchase, and it was a very smart purchase to put him on ESPN. But it does seem like a lot of people at ESPN are like, hey, we got to do things the old way. We got to just keep doing it. It's about live sports, all these talking head shows, Sports Center, and that's literally it. Well, ESPN hasn't really changed a ton the last few years, and guess what? I mean, massive, massive downward spiral. So, if you're trying to get rid of Pat McAfee because you don't like him, Pat McAfee is one of the few things, the very small few things that's working for ESPN right now.
Williamson began his career in the mailroom in 1985 and worked his way up to his most recent title of executive editor and head of event and studio production, a role in which he oversees all of ESPN's NFL and college football live game and studio content. All football, basically, under one guy. And now that guy is gone. Pat McAfee was bought because ESPN can no longer make stars, so they have to purchase stars that have risen through the ranks and offer them lump sums. And what happens is the totem pole, it shifts the dynamic of power anytime you bring in somebody like that, because McAfee goes straight to the top and the other talent starts to get antsy. They go to their bosses and they're like, well, they don't think we can develop talent, and all of a sudden it creates a rift. And
it's fine to buy stars. I don't have a problem with buying stars. You're putting together your own roster. It's what happens in sports.
I agree.
What do sports teams do? They go and find the stars and bring them in to create the best team, which the Titans do not do. Their one star finally found himself a good team to go play with Derrick Henry. You find stars, you put them together, you create the team. Your favorite hockey team is literally called the Stars, and they have put together pieces from other teams.
Oh, see, now he's trying to turn it back around. See what he's trying to do here? That's called gaslighting, and I'm not falling for it, John.
But, if you can't develop them, hey, transfer portal's the same way. If you can't develop the players out of high school, go find you a good transfer portal quarterback or something. Like, that's sports now. Yeah. And if you can't evolve to go find yourself a star and keep working on it. That doesn't mean stop. Keep working on it. But just because you can't develop it doesn't mean you just have to stop.
And it's not even that ESPN can't develop it anymore. They can't keep them because they had a flock of stars leave to go to other places, other broadcasting networks. They weren't able to hold on to them either. But ESPN right now, an interesting shakeup at the very top. Producer Tyler is here with us. You're monitoring the future creative moves of Denis Villeneuve, as there are some interesting developments today, as I don't think anyone's going to be shocked by one of those developments.
So, excuse me, both of us today.
Yes.
We're all going down.
So, Denis Villeneuve has announced in a statement with Legendary Pictures that Dune 3 officially in development. Also, they are in discussion to adapt Annie Jacobson's book, Nuclear War, a Scenario. And for anyone who has not read Annie Jacobson, she does a lot of nonfiction about government conspiracies, declassified documents, and just clandestine activities. So I'm excited to see what Denis Villeneuve can do with that.
Or as I like to call it, what we're planning on seeing in Civil War a little bit, I think, a week from now. Rockstar's here with us. Rockstar,
Hey.
you planning on seeing Civil War with us next Thursday?
Next Thursday. I think I can do it. What
Okay.
time we got? What time's the showing?
I don't know yet.
Well, you gotta have this plan. What?
I've already bought my tickets.
What are y'all? What are you wearing? We're doing Titans gear.
I will be fine with Titans gear if I'm willing to add more.
You'll start a civil war.
I don't plan on it. I hope not to.
I have an old Eddie George jersey I'll bring for you.
John, you do have a bunch of Titans hats you could gift me if you just wanted to get rid of them.
Okay.
I'll take them off your hands.
I'm going to 7, by the way.
Rockstar,
Throw that out there.
ahead of Civil War, have you finished House of the Dragon Season 1?
I finished it yesterday.
Thoughts?
And
I was telling Laurel I really enjoy it. It is a ton of memorization. I don't like that there's a kid named Lucerys that they call Luke. I thought that was two different characters. There's another one that's his brother's name is something with an N, and they call him a nickname for it. But it's just there's a lot of names, a lot of territories, and I was like, I think Game of Thrones would kill me because like you have to sit and focus, and of course I have the subtitles on to read it. But yeah, like I like that a lot. I told her dragons are used perfectly. They're not used too much. Like I don't want to see just dragons nonstop. And it's a good story. It's a lot of politicking, a lot of uncomfortable ease. Not as much sex scenes as Game of Thrones, as I'm told, because I'm told like I am really uncomfortable with the over-the-top sex scenes. So they did pretty good with that. So I will be on to season 2. I don't know how I'm going to watch season 2 as it airs. I'm still 8 episodes behind in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it ends this weekend. So I'm trying to get there.
You'll get there.
It's hard.
You'll get there, but the fact that you are completely caught up on season 1 surely helps because that June premiere date for season 2 is fastly approaching. We're very excited about it and look forward to Game of Thrones coming back into our lives. There's just nothing better, John, on a Sunday night. You're getting ready to hear that theme song hit and get into some battles over Westeros.
By the way, we talked about Three Body Problem being done by Benioff and Weiss, who did Game of Thrones. Ramin Djawadi, or however you say his name, also does the music for the show as well. Obviously, part of what helped Westworld also does the music for House of the Dragons.
It's really good. It's a really good score.
Really, really good music there. But he does Three Body Problem to throw that in there to give him another.
It's too confusing.
I'm sure it was a debate about whether or not to use the Game of Thrones theme in House of the Dragon, and I think it was a smart plan to go forward with that. Speaking of smart plans, Way to Wellness has one for not only me and you, but everybody out there who wants to have not only weight loss, but a lifestyle change as well.
You want a plan? Just go to your browser, type in aplanforme.com, and it will be a plan for you. With Way to Wellness, Leslie and her whole board certified team there, they've gotten us on the right track. Like Tim said, we're doing it. Jim Dunaway from the next round is doing it. Look, hey, he's off to Phoenix right now, and he fits in that seat a lot better thanks to our friends at Way to Wellness. My dad is doing it. He's been able to travel more comfortably as well. I just got back from a trip more comfortably, and, hey, I made it through an entire hockey game, and all I had was a bottle of water the entire time.
Nice.
Because, normally you go, and it's like I got to eat all that. It's not junk. It's really good, but it's junk food. Hey, I can back off. I've been now to Bridgestone Arena twice in the last 3 weeks, and I've only come away drinking water both times because they've gotten me on that, regimen to where I know exactly what I should put in, and I'm only putting that in, and I'm comfortable only putting that into my body. So, go to planforme.com, get that consultation, and they can build a plan for you just like they have for us with Way to Wellness.
I agree with you, John. The Nashville Predators serve nothing but junk. And the Dallas Stars, if you want to look at culinary masterpieces, you look at what they're doing on the ice and with the ice at all of their lovely locations there.
I've been to that arena too. It's okay.
Let's talk about what Rockstar wants to talk about for a second. Go ahead. What did you say? What were you going to say?
I haven't been either. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You haven't been either. I thought you said you had a question.
I've been invited.
Weekend box office. Expectations are coming out. Godzilla x Kong expected to remain a healthy number 1 this weekend with 32 million to 36 million in its second weekend. It's already surpassed 200 million at the worldwide box office. It's already passed the domestic gross of what Godzilla vs. Kong had, even though that was a pandemic release on HBO Max. The First Omen is aiming for a $15 million start. The 20th Century Studios film opened with $725,000 in previews at the box office last night. First Omen is the 6th installment in the Otherworldly franchise and its first new entry in 18 years. The last one coming out with Liev Schreiber there in 2006. It's eyeing a similar start to its series predecessor. In that movie with Liev Schreiber and Julia Stiles, the film opened to $16 million and eventually powered to $119 million globally. The First Omen was modestly budgeted and cost about $30 million to produce. The film takes place before the events of The Omen from 1976. Tyler, we got a chance to see this last night, and I loved this movie. I thought it was really well done. As a horror movie fan, you either know going in if this is a movie for your taste or not. And for me, this movie delivered. I loved the 70s aesthetic. Did it deliver for you, Tyler?
So when I first walked out of the theater, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had already seen it before, because Immaculate just released a couple weeks ago, and that was a feeling I couldn't shake the whole time watching the movie. This movie has better visuals, though, and actual scares as opposed to jump scares, and I think I need to let First Omen sink in a little bit and see it again without thinking about Immaculate to give it a good review.
Go see First Omen again, because one thing I disagree with you right off the bat is that this movie had way more jump scares than Immaculate, in my opinion. This movie's jump scare heavy. That's probably the biggest diss I have on it. And there's maybe some logic issues, but overall, the production quality is outstanding. John, I know this is a movie you're not going to go see, so why waste any time?
How many of these movies should I go see?
None. N-U-N.
Good.
That's my joke, though. You shouldn't get credit for it.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen when you do it.
Dev Patel's Monkey Man is targeting a $12 million debut. I don't even try to segue sometimes. I just get away from whatever is, whatever trap I'm falling into. Dev Patel's Monkey Man targeting a $12 million debut. It opened last night with more than the First Omen, $1.4 million compared to the $725,000. John, are you willing to go out on a limb here?
Monkey.
No pun intended. And say that Monkey Man will outperform the First Omen in week one?
I thought that from the beginning, so I will go out on a limb and say it will happen.
This is a movie that has a lot of people excited to see it. I wonder how many of those people went ahead and saw it last night, the first moment they could, compared to seeing it over the weekend. Tyler, which makes more money this upcoming weekend, the First Omen or Monkey Man?
That's tough. I think Monkey Man will have longer legs. That's for sure. This is a tough decision.
You want me to flip a coin for you?
Does Monkey Man have
Well,
bigger
let's go
fingers?
Monkey Man. I'm gonna back the movie I enjoyed the most.
You're going Monkey Man, okay. And I am going to go First Omen. I think First Omen will have the bigger weekend, but we'll see.
I'm going to say, in a rare thing, they're both going to make the exact amount of money this weekend.
That's very possible.
Within $200.
If that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much estimated when they come out with the totals
Yeah.
anyway, so I can see it both saying, hey, they're both $12 million or something.
There you go.
Monkey Man, which both stars and is directed by Dev Patel, was initially planned for Netflix, but Universal Pictures, they landed the rights after Jordan Peele, whose production company has a distribution deal with the studio, saw and acquired the movie feeling it was deserving of a theatrical release. It was bought for just $10 million. South by Southwest has been the best thing about the marketing so far, because there really hasn't been a ton of marketing for Monkey Man, but the reaction out of South by Southwest with Dev Patel on the stage and the tears and the applause, it's probably the best thing going for this film right now, with trying to get general audiences excited. But this is a movie where the cinematography bothered me very much. It was so frantically shot. And
Is it like Safdie Brothers and like how it's shot? I feel like Safdie Brothers are very up close with all the movies they did. So when you did your review, that's kind of the
That's
first
fair.
vibe I got from it.
it was annoying. It was almost nauseating to me how up close and personal the action was, focusing on elbows and eyeballs. And I don't know. I
Is it
wanted
like Mortal Kombat X-Ray every time they fight.
Not
No,
quite.
no,
Not
no.
quite.
No, it's not that it was disgusting. I'm nauseated by the camera movements themselves. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. There's a couple of times this movie subverts sort of your expectations, but overall, with Monkey Man, I just can't get over how poor the cinematography was, and there were a bunch of production issues on this film, and I saw them right there on the screen. But we'll have our full spoiler review up today, and you'll get a chance to see that going into the weekend. Maybe you'll see the movie this weekend and come back to the Meltdown channel here and see our review. John, is Monkey Man a movie you plan on seeing?
Probably not. It may be one of those once it comes out on, HBO Max or whatever, then I'll potentially turn it on. But like the John Wick movies, I didn't get into it first because I'm weird about how violent I really want to get. And ultimately, the John Wick movies weren't so bloody that I couldn't watch them. That once I watched the first one, I thought, that's actually not that bad. A lot of it's hidden because it's dark sometimes and all that. I can deal with it. Monkey Man was one of those I feel like is right on the edge for me. So I may watch it on TV, and if I don't like it, I can just hit the power button and walk off instead of being committed to a movie at that point.
We have Sick Nasty Heat in the chat saying happy Friday and still asking about if we're doing the nun joke, and unfortunately we are. We have Justin that says the hat looks sweet, And we have Seth, who says Monkey Man looks incredible. There's a lot about it that's really good. The fight choreography is really fantastic. I just hate the way this movie was shot.
You got somebody at the window. I don't know why they're.
Let's get it. Can we get a
Don't
shot
look-
on the
don't look at
window?
'em. Don't look at them.
Do we have anybody at the window? I don't see anybody. Do you see anybody, John? Oh my gosh.
There is somebody.
There we go. Laurel Lunsford is here.
I'm gonna go get the door. Real
Please
quick.
go get the
I
door.
feel like I should be obligated to do that.
Thank you. She's probably been out there for 20 minutes waiting.
Hey, girl.
Here we go.
This is so exciting.
Party's getting ramped up here.
It's Friday.
Laurel has entered the chat.
Thank you.
Laurel,
Oh,
I just
that was
knocked
very,
over my
that was
water
a very
bottle.
current reference, Tim.
Thank you very
I was
much.
expecting that.
I'm not an old man.
Just play one on TV.
I'm not one. But thank you for being here. That was the best the door thing has gone. I
I
think, to this
tried. Like
point.
I was preparing myself. I was worried I was gonna mess it up, and I was covered. You were gonna mess it up too. But
Well, I'll be honest. I wasn't even think you said 220. And it's like somebody's at the door. I was like, it's not time. Oh, it is 220. Never mind.
I didn't say anything about being here exactly at 2:20 at the window. I didn't. I don't know what you're referencing.
Just peel back the curtain a little bit.
I just,
That never happened.
I just felt like it was time for me to emerge. You know,
It is.
You want to come in? Come in. Yeah.
Which one makes more money this weekend? The First Omen or Monkey Man?
probably Monkey Man. I feel like I've seen more
Oh.
about that. But I think maybe next week I could see the First Omen because word of mouth will get out, and I feel like everyone that's gonna see Monkey Man will probably see it this week, and then that'll be that, and then they'll move on.
It'd be a big. I think it'd be a big loss for First Omen if it's not ahead of Monkey Man going
Did
in.
Monkey Man? I haven't looked at this week because
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to see these. Did it take any big screens around here?
No.
I assume
No.
Godzilla kept
No.
them, but I was
Yes.
being an action movie. I could see something like that because Civil War is 100% taking all the big screens.
Godzilla's
so-
got nearly every screen.
Yeah.
There's like 15 showings.
I
per
know Civil
theater.
War's taking over. I just didn't know if Monkey Man. They might be like, yeah, we'll throw it on a couple
Nope.
big screens
I just
here.
thought it would be a bigger movie because all I hear is Jordan Peele is the producer of it. That's the main thing I
Yeah.
hear about this movie.
But remember, he's the producer of it after the fact, right?
Yes, he saved it. Yes, and I really like I love The Green Knight. I thought that was a really good movie.
I like The
but-
Green Knight too. Tim didn't like it, but
I hated it.
I like Dev Patel. Now we like him most from The Newsroom, but he has had his moments where he's been very good in things.
Dev Patel, there's a lot of star power there for sure. And walking out of this, I am optimistic about him in front of and hopefully behind the camera. But the cinematography in this
Hire a
just
different
kills me.
cinematographer. Go get Roger Deakins. to do
Go
your next
hire a
movie.
cinematographer and you're good. But I know that they couldn't necessarily do that. Kung Fu Panda 4, Dune Part 2, and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire are expected to round out the top 6, but I wouldn't be shocked if Ghostbusters falls even further because that's kind of a dead movie right now. No one is talking about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire anymore.
I assume cheap theaters don't exist anymore, but
It was a
It's
joke.
fine.
It's a joke about it being a dead movie.
I was moving on. But I expect it's at the dollar movie stage now. Not that those necessarily exist anymore, but
There's still
I think
one.
there's
you
one
know
or two.
that's more where people would go see it. That name independent movie. It could be your Late Night with the Devil. It could be anything that could potentially creep up and take that spot.
We shall see. I want to get into comments made by comedian Danny McBride, who recently spoke out about not liking the movie theaters serving dinner and drinks during screenings, saying, quote, "I hate it. I can't stand it. I also don't think it makes sense to combine booze with movies. You're going to have to go piss." That's what he recently told GQ magazine, that he's staunchly against the trend of meals being served in the movie theater. Tyler, in my opinion, that's part of the experience now. And I get upset when theaters don't serve meals at movies. I feel like it works.
I agree with you. I can't finish a whole large popcorn by myself. I'd rather get the mozzarella sticks or the churros.
Oh,
That's not like an ad.
you
for
want the
AMC.
popcorn to
Go
have
to
a
AMC
accompaniment.
theaters. Yes.
Gotcha.
Like I until our friends at Way to Wellness, I would partake in all kind of stuff going into the movies. Since that has been available 5-6 years since that's been available here. Since that has happened, I have not left once to go to the bathroom during a movie. And there's plenty of Dunes out there and, Avengers movies and stuff that they're plenty long, Avatar or whatever, that you got to go to the bathroom. But you know what? It's okay. I can hold it for the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Rockstar, beer isn't the only thing that makes you have to go to the bathroom. Have you seen the size of the sodas? I don't
Yeah.
know what's Danny McBride saying here.
No, I kind of agree with him, but I'm not against it. So I'm back and forth. Like I I love that there's chairs that recline now. I think that was a very necessary thing, a comfortable chair that can recline and give you spacious room and a little tray to pull up. That's awesome. That's a necessary thing. But I've never been like, do you want to go see Dune and get a hamburger and cheese, fries, and
I think it's a certain
nachos?
type of food. Like, I can see eating like a pizza, but I just remember, and this is before the theater started selling like the food. I remember going to see Call Me by Your Name, and specifically there was someone in back of me, and they had gotten an entire like meal.
They
from,
brought
like,
a peach in.
They
Fajitas.
it was P.F. Chang's.
Oh, God.
Like, can you imagine just taking P.F. Chang's to a movie?
Oh, they brought it in like
Yes,
from
and
an
they
outside-
brought it in, and it was like, and it smelled.
See, now that
like, it
I'm
was just-
against.
Well,
because
it's one thing to sneak in my own M&Ms I bought for cheap at
it's
the
a
convenience
very-
store. It's another to bring in a whole meal
It's a
from
very
P.F. Chang's.
distinct memory, especially for that movie. It was just, it was like 8:00 at night, and it just, I don't know. I can see the pizza, mozzarella sticks. I agree with Tyler on that. Popcorn, obviously, like, you have to have popcorn. There's no.
But I don't think you should have things with distinct smells like buffalo wings.
Yeah.
That's got a distinct smell. Fajitas, something that's going to sizzle. Like
smoke.
I have
all
never
that
ordered
smell-
buffalo wings for that one reason. I have wanted to try them, but I know somebody's gonna sit right next to me in that one movie. It's gonna be packed, and I'm gonna have the buffalo wings, and it's like,
It smells
what
awful.
idiot bought the buffalo wings?
Yeah,
I'm in favor of keeping theaters open. In order to do that, they need to sell concession stand items.
Yes.
Bring on the buffalo wings. Bring on the chips. Bring on the fajitas.
But I just
bring
like
on everything.
I like how he's using, like, instead of getting popcorn or nachos, which has been a staple at the movies forever, I switched to, like, I'm going to get a flatbread. Like, quantity of food, it's probably even less than what I would have eaten with a big popcorn. Drinking one beer is probably less than if you were to get a giant big gulp kind of size cup of Coke or something to go in there.
And also, I would think
So how is that any different than what they were already doing at movies back in the heyday that he's probably wanting to get back to?
also the movies that Danny McBride makes, I think that you being inebriated enhances the experience. I would imagine somebody like Christopher Nolan being pissed off, like, why are they having alcohol? You need to think when you're watching my movie. I don't want you inebriated, but Danny
Pineapple
McBride
Express
should be like,
have to be awake,
give them
yes.
whatever they want.
McBride has a solution to this. He told GQ himself, David Gordon Green, who's the director that ruined the Halloween franchise, and their film school buddy, Jody Hill, at some point kicked around the idea of opening a theater with a built-in dispensary. They were going to call it green screen.
Oh, I get it.
Quote, if I went to a theater and it was like, here's your popcorn and here's your blanking weed, I feel like that would be an awesome little combo right there.
Yeah.
He likes the idea of like popcorn and weed together, but not full course meals. But I'm thinking,
Or alcohol.
if you are utilizing the Mary Jane, wouldn't you then be more prone to then need the
Eat?
meal
Yeah.
to have? I
Well,
feel
and
like he's
Not only that,
contradicting
but
himself.
you're then, if it's a thinker, you're ruining your ability to comprehend the movie fully. There's somebody who may work in this office with us that every time it's recommended a movie, what'd you think of the movie? I don't know. I was on an edible the whole time. That's the answer to most reviews that he does.
Yes.
And it's
the movie
like,
was glory. What are you
it's
talking
like, well, but you can't enjoy the movie that way. And now he's like, let's just light up and go crazy during the movie, which, look, if you want to do that, I have no problem with that, honestly. But, like, don't make it, that's the answer. You can't have a flatbread at the movie. Instead, here, smoke a doobie. That's not the answer to what you do.
So if
They're
they-
smoking doobies.
If they like something, a good trailer, this trailer's been greenlit.
It looks like you're a part of. You would be.
Oh,
a great
yeah, I'll be all
part
about
of
it.
the
I
marketing
love
team.
that smell. I crave
Like,
that smell.
Can people not just be normal for like 2 hours? Like, do you have to have a phone? Do you have to have like buffalo wings? Do you have to have weed? Like, can you not just go and sit down and watch a movie for like 2
Like,
hours?
get that damn waitress, ma'am.
Benjamin in the chat says more prone to need something to drink too, and then Seth talks about missing the dollar theater in Hoover. That's where they should try this out. It should be a green screen dollar movie theater experience where you can just go in and
if you've
toke
been
up.
there, that is Kid Central, by the way. Like that is
It
family.
was.
Well, okay. Well,
I mean, it's
that's-
dead now.
That's where I was formerly employed. We had those sweet orange seats that were cushioned that were.
They had just renovated it before the pandemic too. Like they had just upgraded the seats.
That's sad.
And it wasn't like it was super fancy, but it was like functional because previously they had literal crime scene tape in the movie theater, the dollar movie, to where there was whole rows that were sectioned out. You're like, what happened here? It's okay. It's only $1. It's the one place you can really never complain. I know that you
Well, that wasn't worth
you
$1.
worked at that theater, but like you can't complain there about anything. Like, oh, there was a syringe in my seat. That's on me. It's a dollar theater. That's the way I feel. But when you go to an AMC or some other big chain and you're spending $50 and you're spending $100 if you're bringing people with you, I think you have a right to, I just want the basic necessities of a movie going experience without other people ruining it. And so many people look to just avoid that now that they don't even go altogether. So they feel like they can replicate that in their home. I know that you're of the mindset that if you could watch every new release at home, you choose to do that. But I'm of the mindset that I want to go to the theater. I want to see it on the best screen with the best sound with an opening night crowd that has a genuine reaction. That's what I feed off of. To me, the experience is more valuable than even the movies themselves.
Just build pods in the theater and you're okay.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I went to the Dollar Theater before they renovated, when they still had the crime scene tape.
Set on a syringe?
I didn't, thankfully. I did catch our boy TJ Miller in Yogi Bear 3D.
That's the story?
Yes.
Probably taking Danny McBride's advice to heart if I had to assume.
Hey, boo-boo. Look, there's no proper segue here, but I really love my dentist. And I want you to love my dentist too. Hey, Two-Tooth. I'm so happy to have found a dental team that I'm so passionate about. You hear it in my voice every single day. I love this team of Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian. They make sure that all of your dental care needs are taken care of. They make sure you're comfortable. I have a numbing issue where it takes me a lot of drugs to get numb so that they can do the work that they need to do. And each and every time Dr. Brian gives me an extra dose of that numbing agent, and I appreciate that very much. And it's all because he wants you to be comfortable. He always asks, do you feel this? Do you feel that? And that's the kind of thing you want before all of a sudden you're in immense pain. You don't want to be in immense pain. Go see my friends at Alabama Dental Associates. They're going to take care of you. They're a special place to get all of that dental work done with the perfect dental team. 956-8977. That's 205-956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com as they look forward to seeing you. Okay, we are about to launch into a new segment, a new idea here on the Meltdown channel, and I'm really excited about it. It does involve Laurel, and I don't think I've talked to her about this.
No.
Maybe, John, you have.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
Do I even know what this is?
You know what this is, yes.
Okay.
Every Monday, we're going to release a new feature on the Meltdown channel, and it's going to be called Retro Trailer Reactions.
Oh, okay.
And we are going to take what is a film from 2016 and earlier. 8 years is really the cutoff. 2016 and earlier. That we don't know what each other have picked. We are going to draw from the Dune popcorn bucket a movie that has been submitted. And on Mondays, we are going to rewatch the classic trailer with you at home or on the road, wherever you may be, and then give our thoughts on what we think about the movie itself, how well it's held up. Maybe it stinks. Maybe we haven't even ever seen it before, and we're reacting for the very first time. But we're going to have retro trailer reactions right here on the Meltdown platform, and this is the very first time that we are turning to the Dune popcorn bucket to get an answer. Laurel, if you wouldn't mind, can you hand me the Dune popcorn bucket without dropping
This is like the Oscar.
Thank you so much. This is a tough thing. This is a tough thing to hold and maneuver, but I want to make sure this thing has a good shake.
Not as impressive without having like a lot of, clanging around in there.
Okay, I think
my
it shook
strips
up.
of paper are real small.
I think it shook up. There we go. Laurel,
Oh,
you can take the popcorn bucket itself,
Okay.
and you can just put your hand in there, and first one,
Dig one out.
let's get a close shot on this. That'll up our
Actually,
views.
This just feels really gross. Okay.
It is really gross.
Okay.
Tyler spit in it too, and I don't know if that's
Whoa.
like.
All right. I think I have a good
I
one.
did no such thing.
Okay, now you announce what it is.
The Game. 1997.
1997.
That is
game.
mine from Michael Douglas.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
I'm not supposed to reveal who it is.
That was
No,
gonna be like
that's
a
perfectly
goofy movie
fine.
or something.
I
I knew it was yours because it was. I could see the label thing on the back.
I'm just thinking about it. So the game from 1997 is this week's retro trailer reaction.
I just brought that up the other day. I don't know why I brought it up.
We were talking about
But it's,
something similar.
Oh, that Self-Reliance movie that came out on Hulu kind of pulls from that.
Yeah.
That it's a good movie. It's a good movie. But
I
we
know
literally
this
just
is a
talked
good
about.
one.
I'm
Has
glad- I'm
everybody
glad it-
seen the
I've
game?
never seen it.
You've never
I've never seen it.
I've seen it, but
Okay.
I don't think Laurel's seen it, so we'll watch.
You never seen the game?
I haven't.
Okay.
The game
good.
will be our very first retro trailer reaction. We will have that on Monday, and we're looking forward to tackling that over the weekend. So we've got some homework to do with the game.
I thought it was gonna be a movie with The Rock or something.
So, there weren't enough to choose.
We're going to be talking about The Rock here in just a few moments, but
Oh, yeah.
first we have to make Laurel angry and upset because Christian Bale is Frankenstein's monster in a first look at Maggie Gyllenhaal's
Have you seen
The
this?
Bride. I think we have an image here. We can go ahead and show everybody. The director, who's teaming up with Warner Brothers for the period film, shared images on Instagram from a recent camera test for the movie. Bale's monster makes his debut alongside Gyllenhaal's The Lost Daughter, Oscar nominee Jessie Buckley. Starring opposite Bale and Buckley are Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, and Annette Bening. The film's crew includes Joker cinematographer Lawrence Sher. Okay, everyone's getting a chance to see the image of Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster. Laurel, what the world really wants right now is your review of this first image.
I am shocked. I mean, I think Maggie Gyllenhaal is a good director, so I'm sure the movie will end up being good. I think there's two movies. They have the Guillermo del Toro one that's going to have Jacob Elordi and Mia Goth, who, of course, I love from Maxine and Pearl. And then Oscar Isaac, I think that one will be better because I know he is very much, he loves he made Shape of Water. That is but this it looks like Joker from Suicide Squad.
Is it more of the pose?
It's the tattoo.
Yeah. Well,
What does the tattoo even say?
Hope?
This is taking a lot of heat off of the Crow remake is what it's done.
I mean,
I don't get what
he's
this new
trying-
trend is.
It's trying to be sensual, but we don't want it.
Sexy Frankenstein with
I
hope
don't
tattooed on
know.
him.
What's
I've
on?
never heard a positive reaction to body tattoos in movies of the past decade. I have not heard any of that.
And the writing on his jacket, I can't. Verdrobe, and I don't know what the smaller.
And I feel like she doesn't look anything like the bride because she's supposed to have the big lightning bolt streak
Yeah, I didn't
on her.
pull. Let's see.
I mean, she just has. She's got blonde hair.
What is the resurgence here of Frankenstein material? Because we had Poor Things, which is very much Frankenstein inspired. We
it
had the
is.
Guillermo del Toro movie you mentioned. We had Lisa Frankenstein. What's going on here? What are we witnessing?
I think every couple of years, there's always something. Do you remember that summer that Deep Impact and Armageddon came out? And there was two
Yes.
movies. And then I remember it's been longer than a couple, but there was several movies about Jennifer Aniston was in a movie where she was pregnant and it was an in vitro type situation. But then there was a Jennifer Lopez movie, and then there was a Lindsay Lohan movie. It's where do we need 3 types of movies like this? I think the ideas just kind of get passed around with different scripts, and they're well, if they're doing it, I bet we can do one too, and it will be even better.
It does feel like this year we have a lot of mirror image movies. Godzilla X Kong,
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Monkey Man, The Crow, very similar. Immaculate, The First Omen. These things they're basically one side or the other.
Yes. And I think with the monsters having a resurgence, because I feel that, we talk about the Universal parks all the time. The biggest money maker there is Horror Nights, and they always have a house based on the monsters, and I feel that's getting more and more popular. And it's probably but you know what? I bet I can do a retelling of this that's current and edgy, and let's give Christian Bale a neck tattoo. And I think
it's like a clavicle tattoo, right? I mean, it's like
Sean, what do you think? What do you think looking at this?
Again,
disturbed.
You look perplexed looking
I was
at
trying
it.
to look for the Maggie Gyllenhaal thing, but I don't.
This is The Bride, by the way.
Well,
Looks awful.
I don't have the picture.
But
I don't understand it. I don't understand the tattoo thing and the Christian Bale. So I don't understand the pose. The pose makes it look emo.
It looks like
why the pose?
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, it looks like he's been writing his girlfriend in 10th grade. It's just nobody understands me. That's Frankenstein straight out of Hot Topic.
Straight out of Hot Topic.
But that's what I don't understand. This is Christian Bale.
Yeah. Well,
This is a guy that would literally, hey, you literally need to remove my brain. I gotta
Maggie
be this.
Gyllenhaal she's an Oscar nominated. Is she not? Was she not Oscar nominated for the
She was.
writing?
She was.
She's a good director, good writer. So I'm sure it will end up being good, but I don't know. It's just the posing, the look.
Yeah,
Joker.
her first directorial effort was The Lost Daughter, which released on Netflix in 2021. That movie earned 3 nominations at the 94th Academy Awards: Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
It was okay. Olivia Colman was good in it.
It's a bad year for the beach. That and old.
She didn't. If Olivia Colman wasn't in it, that movie would have been nothing. But Olivia Colman's so good that it made it worth something.
And if you look at Guillermo del Toro's movie that he's got coming out, as you mentioned, it's got Jacob Elordi. It's got Oscar Isaac, which is a good person I can't stand. Mia Goth, who you mentioned, and Christoph Waltz is in that movie as well. So this movie is set to hit IMAX and other theaters October 2nd, 2025. So this is a very early image with this Frankenstein's monster being portrayed by Christian Bale, who, if you remember, was the love interest of Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight. John, it sounds like Laurel is a Maggie Gyllenhaal fan. I know you are far from it.
I didn't say I was a fan. No, okay. I said I thought she was. I think she's talented. I'm not going to rush out to see a Maggie Gyllenhaal movie. I think Katie Holmes was better.
Well,
I agree.
All right, so that
Katie Holmes was better.
That obviously had a whole story behind it. It wasn't just done
30 seconds on the clock.
No, I'm not going to explain the whole story. It was Tom Cruise. That's all you have to say. But then that is the whole story behind it. That it's not just like for the heck of it. They just said let's switch to Maggie Gyllenhaal. So I didn't like it from the beginning. Katie Holmes was infinitely better, which made you dislike Maggie Gyllenhaal even more. Number 2, my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movie would be Donnie Darko, which she's also in as well. But every time she's on screen, it makes me so mad at Donnie Darko. I don't know why, but I like Jake Gyllenhaal in it. As much as we debate about Jake Gyllenhaal, I like Jake Gyllenhaal in it. Every time his sister appears, it's like, get off the screen. I don't want you here. This just doesn't do it for me. The Lost Daughter was just okay, but like I said, it's all Olivia Colman. The only reason that movie was any good at all.
I want to talk with Laurel about a confirmation that we received here recently from The Hollywood Reporter that Disney's getting ready to shoot a sequel to its 2003 family comedy, Freaky Friday. On track for a summer shoot in Los Angeles, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, who starred in the 2003 version, are in negotiations to reprise their roles as the mother and daughter combo who find themselves switching bodies and lives. Curtis recently posted a photo of herself with Lohan on Instagram. It's unclear whether the feature will be released theatrically or debut on Disney+. Does this sound like a theater-going experience or a Disney+ exclusive?
I mean, I think it'll probably end up being a Disney+ movie. Now, if Lindsay Lohan had kept the trajectory of her, I think she could have been a really big star, and this would have probably not even been made because I feel like this is just something. But I think fans will like it. I think I would be interested in seeing this. I think it's going to be one of those that
you'll watch on Monday night that I'm playing poker.
I hear you being very hesitant about this production continue. That's what I'm hearing, and I feel like you're trying to be nice.
Because I like both of them. I do. I think that I think Lindsay Lohan, I think she could have ended really badly. And I think she has completely turned her life around. I mean, she's like a mom. She's married. She's
having a little resurgence here.
She's always going to be Mean Girls. That's always going to be her thing. I think she had the cameo in the movie. And it was fine. But
the project already has an early draft. The franchise is based on the 1972 children's book by Mary Rogers, and the original film adaptation, released in 1976, starred Barbara Harris as the mother and Jodie Foster as the daughter. Each installment tried to bring the core concept of living life in another person's shoes into modern teen settings. Lohan, obviously, no longer a teen, but this is being promised to be a multi-generational story, so maybe it has to do with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think what I'm thinking about is I don't know what it's going to be like having Lindsay Lohan, who's now older, and Jamie Lee Curtis, who's older. They're going to be switching places with teenage girls, like them using Gen Z speak. And
it's a three-way swap with Lindsay Lohan has a daughter, so therefore, Jamie Lee Curtis's grandma goes into the daughter goes into Lindsay Lohan, and it's all about, well, as a parent, I did this. Well, maybe I should have been a nicer parent, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Curtis right now, though, has resurged as well.
Yeah,
I mean, she's right there towards the top. She's going to be in the Borderlands movie that's coming out this summer, right?
Yes.
Summer?
June
and
11th,
she was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was obviously in the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy that ended so poorly.
I wouldn't be surprised if she shows back up in Halloween. I really won't. I won't be shocked.
Has anybody seen the Lindsay Lohan movie on Netflix called Irish Wish?
Believe it or not, I actually suggested it one night for us to watch, and Laurel's like, I don't want to watch that.
And basically you're like, see, it would have helped us in this conversation to have seen
pretty
it.
much.
All right, let's talk about the latest Fox News sit down as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is expressing some regret about his 2020 endorsement for Joe Biden for president and says he won't endorse any candidate this year. He said, quote, "The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at the time." He told that to Will Cain in a Fox News interview posted online today. He said, quote, "I thought I'm in this position where I have some influence, and I felt it was my job then to exercise my influence and share. This is who I'm going to endorse. I'm not going to do that. I was then the most followed man in the world and am today, and I appreciate that. But what that caused was something that tears me up in my guts, which is division. That got me. I didn't realize that then. I just felt like there was a lot of unrest, and I'd like things to calm down." The Rock also said, when asked if he would run for president here soon, quote, "No, that's not my intention. I'm not a politician." Obviously, The Rock...
I don't believe that.
The Rock is being asked all these questions because it is WrestleMania 40 weekend. He's talking about how he basically doesn't want to turn away any potential audience ever again, and he's been very adamant that he is a registered independent. He's voted for both sides of the aisle. And
can you be a registered independent?
I think he's called himself a registered independent.
Yeah, how could you register if it's independent?
I think that's what he said last year. You can check the tape. But he was very adamant that he's voted for both political parties. He doesn't want to be labeled just with just one stamp. We obviously don't talk politics a lot on this show, but I think it is interesting when you get into arguably the most high-profile entertainer that's currently alive saying, "I don't plan to go back into the political waters ever again. I learned my lesson," because of whatever backlash he suffered from that.
I don't believe that. I believe currently it is in his best interest to stop and just leave that part of everything and go be a wrestler, try to revive his movie career that is currently in the toilet, and try to just be him and not try to play sides because he's got to play everything right now.
This was published just a few hours ago.
Honestly, I think he started getting the most blowback is when he defended Joe Rogan, which that kind of started on his thing, and that's why I think he's still he's The Rock. Everyone's always going to like The Rock. But after we watched the Oscars, we talked about this after the show, I would rank him third on the people, like, in the entertainment. Like, I think it's Batista 1, I think it's John Cena 2, and I think The Rock is 3.
Of wrestlers currently.
Of wrestlers that you would want to watch.
Strictly from the movie standpoint.
From the movie and that entertainment. I mean, wrestling, I think still he's number one.
Rockstar, the political landscape, it's obviously a very tense one, and The Rock says he wants nothing to do with this going forward. He was very adamant in the 2020 election that he did want to get involved. What do you think about him sitting out 2024 and being so public about talking about it?
Well, it's interesting that he talked about regretting endorsing a candidate on a competing news station on Fox News. It's fun. It's a little bit of a move for both of them because I wouldn't announce this on MSNBC. I'm not going to say I regret voting for or endorsing Joe Biden. I think he's changed ever since he's got this ego since Black Adam that he thinks he's superior. No.
That actually does seem true, though.
Well, I mean, I actually thought that was a real take you were going with there.
Didn't that movie bomb?
But but then he would say that it didn't. And he proved oh, it made this much money, and then the people were like, no, those aren't real numbers.
That's a problem when you have to do that.
Well, basically, Deadpool right now is the whole point of the trailer is I'm Marvel Jesus to come save everything. He thought he was DC Jesus when he came in to do Black Adam, and turns out you're not even remotely close. You're literally at the bottom because nobody wants to go see Black Adam, and the whole DCEU is dead now.
Television ratings for WWE right now are through the roof. He took credit today for having
Do they need him right now?
Well, the argument is it doesn't hurt. When you have all these other pieces and then you add The Rock on top, it doesn't hurt. But he's taking a lot of credit for the whole plan the entire time was to come in and be this all-time bad guy. And I think they had to pivot because I think he had planned on coming in and using this as an opportunity to completely repair his image and become this guy that's cheered in wrestling circles, and then he's cheered once again when he goes back to Hollywood. And instead, when he took Cody Rhodes' spot, he ended up getting a lot of heat, and they had to pivot really quickly. And instead of having that dream match of The Rock versus Roman Reigns, they had to turn it back into Cody versus Roman, and The Rock had to play into, oh gosh, this is what the crowd is feeding me. Now I got to be an all-time bad guy. And he has been excellent as a bad guy, but he's saying that was the plan from the very start to be the bad guy. And I don't think it was, John.
What's in The Rock's mind for what he envisioned something to be completely changes in every possible regard. DC had to completely change. Wrestling, there's no way what he is doing now is what he had in his mind when he came back, like you said. And number 3, and I will go, even though nobody really cares compared to the movies in WWE, with football. The XFL had to merge with another league, and he's acting like this was all part of my master plan. No, it was not. Him and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, are on TV like, look, isn't this so great? Isn't this awesome? It's like you two were 2 dying leagues that then had to merge to just to exist. And guess what? Next year, if it dies, we're all going to go, yep, it died. I mean, every single aspect of his entire life right now, it's like, I'm going to plan it out. I have this master plan. Now, to be fair, there's plenty of other people to help him. In WWE, there's a lot of people to help. Hey, let's spin it into a different direction and it'll work. Okay, well, it's worked. With movies, plenty of things he has done has had to be spun and ultimately has been successful. And then with the XFL and USFL now merging, it's had to be spun in a different direction. And I think right now it's doing okay. But everything in his mind has not worked out.
Well, he's saying the same thing about his political endorsements, that he expected it to go one way, it went a different way, and now he doesn't want anything to do with it.
How awesome if he's a new character on Sunday at WrestleMania, he shows up in his suit and is now presenting the politician.
I love it.
How awesome would that be?
I texted John immediately when I saw it. And let me just say, I do like The Rock. I don't dislike him. I will be going to see this movie that I'm about to talk about. But when they announced that they were doing a live action Moana, and this was right after all the stuff with Black Adam, I was like, he must need like a hit, because I am an adult. I loved Moana.
Yeah,
I'm a Disney person. I loved it. I will be going to see this live action one, but that movie is less than like 6 years old. Like, they're doing it. It's not even like a sequel.
Well, that's because The Rock not only needs a hit, Disney needs a hit.
It's not even like a sequel. It is a direct thing just from the cartoon. Like
they're doing a sequel too. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Morana?
Perfect time to segue. WrestleMania, by the way, 2 nights this weekend, something that John, you and I will both be watching, Laurel as well. And it's going to be a lot of content to consume this weekend with the Final Four.
Outside of the Final Four, yeah.
With the Final Four, WrestleMania, the game from 1997. A lot of things to watch.
Yes.
There's one type of game you'll be watching. Well, there's actually 3 types of games if you want to count Triple H. Sorry, beat you to it. But it is going to be a fun 2-night event happening this weekend. There's a new show coming out. I'm going to talk about this really quickly here. John, Laurel, I want to know if you have any interest. I've been wanting to know this for weeks. Food Network has a new series coming out that features 24 chefs taking on 24 food challenges in 24 consecutive hours. It's called 24 and 24 Last Chef Standing.
Yes.
So it's finally doing a competition show. I've been asking for this.
Have you noticed, Sean? Okay, I feel like Sean will agree with me on this. Have you noticed that on the American food shows, like, it can't just be cooking something? It's like, okay, you have to race to the counter.
Yeah.
Then you have to use the secret ingredient. Yeah. And then it's like, ring the bell. Yeah. We have 15 minutes have been subtracted from the clock.
But I like those shows to accept, but I hate every single segment it seems every host, 20, 19, 18, 17. It's like, oh my God, don't do the countdowns.
It's like me when I asked Lunsford a question in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. I immediately go into the clock. The series description.
Who's hosting?
I honestly don't know.
It's got to be Fieri.
They're paying Guy enough.
The 24-hour competition takes the chefs to the extreme, demanding they display the skills, creativity, and stamina needed to be an elite chef. At the end of the 24 hours, there can be only one true master left standing. It will end up being determined the winner by a slew of judges. They will win $50,000 and, quote, the trip of a lifetime. That's the chef who cooked the best for the longest and outlasted the competition. 2024 Last Chef Stand 8 p.m. on Food Network and be available to stream on Max. And I know you guys will be watching.
Yes. Hey, Tournament Champions right now. We're all about Tournament Champions.
That's
the main thing Guy hosts on Food Network. But they have used that to, hey, let's build a whole platform of new people. So I don't know that he necessarily would. I mean, he may be a producer on everything that they do with the money they're paying him, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's all kind of new people they're bringing into this. But yes, we'll be watching it.
I'm sure they will. Speaking of food, occasionally there's a feeling we get when watching the screen, and that's the one of a flavor craving. Sometimes a certain food just looks better on the big screen, or when one of our favorite TV personalities bites into a delicious dish. Which of these food-centric moments always leaves our mouths watering? Let's get ready to discuss John's personal picks on another brand new edition of Luntz's List.
What is this? What is this? What is this? What's this? What's this? Oh, long since this to find, long since this to find, long since this to find, long since this to find.
All right, John. Name the 5 pieces of on-screen content, whether it's movies or television, that always seem to make you crave some sort of food.
Okay.
But first, I need you to erase the board.
I forgot.
It's okay.
I ran out so fast yesterday. I'm
It's
sorry.
all right. Erase the board. Tyler, give him some time to erase the board. We don't want to spoil yesterday's lunches list. Is there anything that comes to mind right off the top of, I don't know, has he shared this list with you?
This was a good question, Tim.
Okay, I'm glad that you like it.
You know what I immediately thought of is the pizza, because I know it's not on here. The pizza from a Goofy's movie.
Yeah, no,
Like-
for me, it's the SpaghettiOs.
Oh, the spaghetti. No, but like the pizza, I feel like the pizza looks so good.
The cheese is
I've
dripping.
never
Yes.
seen a cheesier looking pizza.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
dripping.
When he cooks the SpaghettiOs in the car after the raccoon event. Yeah.
Have you noticed that Goofy's the only one with a family member? Like,
Yeah, isn't Pauly Shore in that? Isn't Pauly Shore the friend?
well,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, number 5. Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Now, first off, can I say I worked on this in the car on the way back
So it's going to suck?
verbally.
I did give my opinions, but I don't think any of them made the list.
She said, you got to put pizza from a Goofy movie on there. I have not seen that movie yet.
Like,
Gorge.
And I said, we'll watch
Someone
it.
could be
Okay.
lost if
But
you
it's like,
don't see
you
it.
got to do this. So there's, anyway.
I'm worried about y'all's level of collaboration on y'all's list. We can't have too
This
much
is-
cross-pollination.
No, this is.
There's no pollinating,
Okay.
honestly.
No. Okay. Now here's the thing with Kevin's chili from The Office. He spills it on the floor, so it's not like, oh, I can't wait to eat floor chili. The problem is nobody got to eat the chili. I really want to know every time I watch that. I see that scene, which is played in pop culture and played, of course, in rewatching The Office 5,000 times. I really want to know what the chili tastes like. If it's such a good thing, and he talks about how you undercook the onions and everything's going to get to know each other in the pot. I am always desperate after that to I want to know what Kevin's chili tastes like. I want to eat it, and he spilled it all over the floor, so nobody could discuss
Such a sad
discuss what
moment.
happened.
It's
It is
so
just-
sad to watch. Clients cleaning up with that piece of paper.
It always makes me think man, now he's talking because the whole time he's doing the whole process he went through, which makes it even more depressing when he spills it. I really want a good bowl of chili now every time I see that scene.
I hope that was a first take, by the way. I hope that they didn't have to do that.
Oh
multiple
yeah, I feel bad
times.
for that guy.
Rip that carpet up again in the office and put it back down to do it. But no, it always
That's
makes
a
me
lot
want
of
chili.
If you're
is.
Heath Ledger blowing up the hospital, or you're Kevin with the chili, both of those
Or Todd
similar
Packer in Michael Scott's office.
similar
When
level
Creed goes, somebody making soup.
similar level of constraint to getting it right the first time. All right, Kevin's chili. Didn't think we'd see that pop up on the list, but
It's an odd choice, but it always makes me think, what does it taste like?
Let's start.
we'll never know. If you want to go
Correct.
lick the carpet out in the lobby, you can go do that. Number 4,
Different kind of chili.
yeah.
So I tried to try the soup from the Seinfeld episode because I don't really like soup that
The
much.
Mindy's?
No, when they go
The soup Nazi?
Yes.
Oh. Which one would you get?
The one that George is because
Jambalaya.
Number 4,
Wedding Crashers. I don't.
Wedding Crashers.
I've never seen
Trying
it.
to think about what the food would be.
All right, so there's a lot of food in Wedding Crashers. Now, I think the one most people would say is the most notable is Will Ferrell yelling for meatloaf. I don't care for meatloaf.
Get the meatloaf!
Then there is a breakfast scene where Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson's eating breakfast, and that's when Vince Vaughn realizes, oh, you've actually fallen in love with Rachel McAdams, and he is just destroying breakfast, and then Vince Vaughn makes his giant plate and starts destroying breakfast, makes you want breakfast. Then when they're playing football, they yell crab cakes, and football is the best thing Maryland does. Then you want crab cakes. But for me, it's the opening montage of Wedding Crashers when they're going to all the different weddings, and in every single one of them, Vince Vaughn is just destroying wedding cake, which is incredible. Any and all wedding cake is incredible, and he is just grabbing every, because they go to a ton of different weddings to get all the different girls at all of them. He is just stuffing wedding cake in his face the whole time, and there's a scene where he's eating and laughing at a bunch of stuff, and it's falling out of his mouth. It always makes me want wedding cake after watching that.
Tyler, you went through a phase where you crashed weddings. Was that your approach to this?
I can see it.
I'm confused by the question. I had never had that phase. Did have a phase where I would watch Wedding Crashers a good bit. It came on
movie.
TV a lot.
That's what I
It's
meant.
the best
That's what I
comedy.
meant.
That breakfast spread.
I just
was
realized
so
y'all are
good.
wearing, by the way, y'all are both wearing
I
Nightmare
love
Before
it.
Christmas shirts.
Jack Skellington.
We planned it that way. Yes.
But anyway, lots of food in Wedding Crashers. But for me, it's the wedding cake. When you go to all these weddings, there's tons of wedding cake. And I love wedding cake. The best wedding cake was Dream Cakes. Rest in peace, Dream Cake doesn't exist anymore. But their wedding cake cupcake, oh my God, I could eat 5,000 of those every day. But thanks to Way to Wellness, I don't want those anymore.
Correct. Thanks to Way to Wellness, that place had to shut down. Good job, John. All right, let's go with number 3 on Lunce's list. It got very sad in here. Number 3. Looking for the movie, television properties that make you crave a certain type of food. Number 5, Kevin's Chili. Number 4, the wedding cake from Wedding Crashers. Number 3,
Egg in a basket. Oh, V for Vendetta.
We just had this conversation about.
We did.
Was that on the air or was that off the air?
it was off the air.
That was
We
off
had
the
a
air.
whole conversation about that from V for Vendetta. I didn't know what brought it up. But the appeal to this is, I mean, it really, because I mentioned, I was like, I make those all the time when we had that conversation. And I do make them all the time for Laurel and I. But what does it for me is Natalie Portman. So she wakes up, she like smells that V's cooking for her, and she goes into the kitchen and he's making it. And that's also the first time you see like the burns on his hands because it's like, oh, sorry, that's gross. Let me cover it up. And then she takes a bite of it. She's like, I'm starving, and takes a bite of it. She's like, oh my God, this real butter. Like, I haven't had real butter since I was a kid because it's a very restrictive country that they live in. And it makes me think the way she's like, oh my God, this is so good. It makes me think, man, I haven't had butter in forever either. Oh wait, I just had it 5 minutes ago eating whatever I was eating for this movie. But the way she's like all about this piece of toast with an egg, it makes me so bad want the egg in a basket. And I do make them all the time. They're very, very, very good.
Very good.
And it's really the first time in the movie where V isn't coming across as some sort of menacing, looming figure.
Right.
Where it's like just a dude that has to eat and likes things that taste good and has good eclectic taste.
And is
Tyler,
ultimately taking care of her too.
I know you love this movie, right?
Oh, I love this movie, and I make Egg in a Basket because of this movie too, John.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
This is so sweet. we need a
I should have worn a Jack Skellington shirt. I'm sorry.
we need a button that goes, oh, we need that. All right. Number 2 on Lunce's list as we're working through this, all we have are the reindeer feet clapping along the rooftop. Number 2, things in media, television and movies that make you hungry. I excluded commercials from this because I think I would just be talking about the lovely commercial that we do for Culver's all the time. Their butter burger is something that Natalie Portman would absolutely love if she tried it out here at either the Culver's of Hoover or Culver's of Birmingham. 2 great locations. Stop by either one. Tell them the Meltdown sent you. Number 2,
Grilled cheese from Chef.
another great answer.
So this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Chef with Jon Favreau. Incredible cast in it. But there's one scene in particular. Now, I'm not a big Cuban sandwich fan, but that's what they end up making in their food truck at the end. The way they make it makes me want to eat one. I just know I don't like them. But he makes a grilled cheese for his kid, and it's after a fight at the restaurant. And he comes home, and he's just, you can tell Jon Favreau's not a chef, but you can just tell like the love he's putting into the grilled cheese sandwich and does everything and spends all this time working on it. And he gives it to his kid, and the kid takes a bite. He's like, yeah, it's pretty good. He's like, damn right, it's good. Like, or yeah, something like that. Like, yes, it's good. Like, you not realize I'm like the greatest chef ever, and I just put all this love into this sandwich. And it makes me really want a grilled cheese sandwich because it is so good the way he does it. But really anything from this movie, because the whole point is he's a chef and wants to create this really cool menu, and he does so, and then it's a really good movie. I highly recommend go watch it.
I think it's a great movie as well. It just is a feel-good movie. There's so few feel-good movies that you can highly recommend, and Chef is one of those films for certain. Isn't there a whole bit with a critic as well, a food critic that comes in?
The whole thing is, food critic comes in and destroys the menu because the owner won't let him cook his menu. He's like, no, you need to stick to the classics. The critic comes in. It's Oliver Platt, I believe, is the critic.
Yeah.
And he comes in and says, it's the same old thing. This is awful. And he's like, no, I wanted to cook my own menu. He quits. And then it's all about what he does after that, kind of finding his love for food again.
It's just like our radio careers. All right, let's go to number 1.
It kind of is, yeah.
On Lunce's list, this is and if it's going to beat Chef, and it's going to beat V for Vendetta, and it's going to beat Wedding Crashers, and yeah, it should beat Kevin's Chili. What would be number 1 on
Rockstar
Lunce's
just
list?
looked up the grilled cheese, and I think he approves.
I love a good grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese is
Give me
so
some.
good.
I'm right there
give me
with
some
you.
good tomato soup along with it. Ooh. Mwah. All right. Number 1.
Oh, this is the correct answer, John.
Oh, you went with a different pizza than Goofy movie. This is going to create friction.
A Goofy movie is one thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is an entire franchise that spans decades. That every time pizza is on the screen,
Are you
in
talking about
Teenage
the
Mutant,
live action one? Or are you talking about the cartoon one?
Talking about all of them ever.
All of the above.
combined.
No, for this specific answer.
for this specific answer,
Because on the cartoon they put like ice cream on it and like
well, they do, but when they just pulled pizza in the cartoon, just in general, they do a lot of weird stuff in the cartoon because you can in the cartoon. But like animated pizza in general is really, really good looking. And whether it's a Goofy movie, whether it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whether it's any cartoon out there, because they make it so gooey looking that it just looks really, really good. So I would lean the way it is in the in any animated form for Ninja Turtles, but also the opening scene to the second one, when every single person is eating pizza while the credits roll at the beginning. Like there's like cops arresting people and they're eating pizza, and there's 2 people out on a date kissing, and then they take a bite of their pizza. There's just so much pizza on the screen, and then they show them actually like cutting it before he delivers an order to them, or delivers an order to April. It just looks so appetizing, and every time it's like, I don't even want to watch the rest of the movie. I just want to go eat a nice pizza instead.
Secret of the
I
Use.
think it's a great answer. I think you did great with this list,
That's right.
and especially on short notice, because you were traveling a lot during this. Fantastic job on the list. One thing I'd add in here, and it's not just because we're coming from the show Quiet on the Set, but orange soda from Kenan and Kel
See, I don't like orange soda.
always made me want orange soda.
Yeah. That's a good one.
They
Always.
went crazy for it.
The thing is, there's a lot of things.
I am shocked you didn't put the menu. The hamburger.
So there's a lot of things. The hamburger at the end,
the hamburger at the end of the
menu is
menu.
good. Like, there's a lot of things that Laurel, because we kind of worked on it on the way back. She's like, what about this? What about this? And 9 times out of 10, I didn't like whatever it was. Like, I get that if you like that, oh, you would really crave that.
Okay.
I'm such a picky eater, very plain eater. I mean, it's pizza. It's a grilled cheese, which is still just bread and cheese. It's egg in a basket, which is bread and egg. It's not anything fancy. Wedding cake is just cake. Like chili. I mean, it's all very, it's not like, from the menu. I love when he put the little things on the rock.
She said the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there's a lot of things that you pick very specific things from movies that I just, in general,
The
I didn't
one
like it.
that-
And I mean, yeah, that is good, but
that
like,
you-
I'd eat some of the stuff they actually ate during the normal meal too.
that you said no, but there was one thing that I always think of, and Tim, I think you'll agree, and Sean Tyler probably will too. In Narnia, that boy with the Turkish delights.
See, I don't like
that's
those either.
always no, I don't want to eat it, but like
No, I've
he's
never seen it.
He's willing to like die, like put his whole family at risk for like. He's like, I have to get these Turkish delights.
He sells out his entire family
Like
for
everyone's
Turkish
gotta
delights.
go.
My honorable
They
mention,
look so good.
by the way, Jody mentioning a couple of our mob things in there. Anything Italian from The Sopranos, because they were eating plenty of Italian food in there. Once again, kind of goes along with pizza, just flavor profile wise. But yeah, I would definitely put that in there. And he mentioned the bear too. Honestly, the thing I would probably eat most from the bear is the pastries at the end of the first season when he comes, because that dude's trying to perfect his craft, his pastries, and he comes over and he swats it out of his hand on the floor. I was like, I would have eaten that. That's what I ate on the floor.
What's
It
the
looked
deal
really
with
good.
you and floor food? I mean, after hearing about Kevin's chili,
Well, I
making
haven't
the list.
finished. I haven't finished the movie, but the pie on the Help looks so good.
I thought you were going to say
I thought you said
Jason.
American Pie.
Jason, what's his name?
Biggs.
From American
Biggs.
Pie. Jason
Yeah.
Biggs' pie.
No,
I was
the
like, what's
pie
going
from
on
the-
here?
Laura
From the
mentioned that
Help.
too, and I was like, I don't really want to eat pie after that.
Another correct answer. Michael Keaton from The Founder, when he goes for the very
Oh,
first
yeah.
time.
yeah, that's a
McDonald's
good
the
one.
first
That's a really
time.
good one.
There's,
good one.
I don't know how you watch that scene and not crave some sort of really good fast food burger. I recommend Culver's and their deluxe butter burger. That's what I would recommend, because that's how I felt. I reenacted the Michael Keaton goes to a fast food restaurant for the first time when I went to Culver's for the first time, and I'm not even kidding, because it was like, this is really good, and the service is good, and I can
Well,
eat it right here, and all
The
that
truth
stuff.
is, I want to experience the 50s or whatever that is,
Yeah.
because it was so different back then that now what you get at McDonald's is nothing versus what you get at a really quality place like Culver's, and then it's like, okay, that's what
Yeah.
I imagined he was experiencing for the
And
first time.
that's exactly the scene that ran through my head when I had Culver's for the first time, and I'm not even joking. But that scene always makes me crave a good, delicious cheeseburger or hamburger. So, strong lunches list today for sure. Not a lot of complaints, and we appreciate all of those in the chat that are weighing in with their answers. We have an answer for you if you're looking for that new kitchen to maybe cook a nice meal in. And that is our friend Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate. When looking for that new place to call home, remember our friend with Location Real Estate, Jim Wilson. Jim, still an active member of the U.S. military, and is simply put, a good guy, doesn't take shortcuts, cares deeply about the home buying experience, able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home, cares deeply about making sure you're given all the information needed during the biggest purchase of your life. Jim's happy when you're happy. If you're looking to accomplish any sort of real estate goals, whether you're buying or selling, make sure you reach out to our good friend, Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate, and not some random agent, some random corporation. Here's the number, 205-329-4758. That's 329-4758, or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. All right, that is going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. We have some homework in watching the 1997 The Game movie, which we will do this weekend, and have a full retro trailer reaction to on Monday. We've got WrestleMania this weekend. We've got Final Four with Alabama taking on UConn. And, John, you went from having little to no hope to having?
Probably less hope, honestly.
Oh,
but
less hope. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
hey, you know what I did? Went on MyBookie.ag and put a lot of money on UConn money line and the over in that one because, look, if Alabama's going to hang, they got to score a ton of points. So even if it's a 1-point game and they end up covering the spread, that parlay ultimately going to pay pretty good. So go to MyBookie.ag, use promo code next round, get that first deposit bonus on us. You can literally bet anything, anytime, anywhere with our friends at MyBookie.
So many things here on the channel this weekend. We will have a First Omen review. We will have a Monkey Man review. We will have a new edition of Laurel's List talking about the 5 summer movies that she cannot wait to see between the months of May and August. You won't want to miss that conversation. It's all happening right here on The Meltdown.